Hey, ladies and gentlemen. So today we're going to be working on India's map activity for our agriculture and rural land use patterns and processes unit. So the first thing we're going to need to do is actually bring up our maps here, which is on our activity screen. So if you see, there are four maps at the top and then another four maps at the bottom. We're going to be using all of these. So the first map here just kind of tells you, where cities are and stuff like that. This map is a topographical map. It gives you elevation in India. This map is a size comparison map where it compares the size of India to the United States. And just to give you an idea, we have a population of about 333 million in the United States. India has a population of 1.4 billion. So their population is significantly higher than ours, like almost five times higher. And then our, actual land mass is, I'd say, probably at least twice as big, maybe a little bit bigger than that. Just something to think about. And then this one is drought. So it tells you how much water each area is getting. You have a land use map that tells you where forests are, where arable land is, scrubland, non-arable land. You have this one that tells you the national forests. You have this one that shows you where major crops are being grown, and then you have this one that shows you average annual rainfall. All right, so let's start at the top here. What is this? What is the size of India compared with the United States? So you just come here, you look at this map, and you tell me what you think. What do you think? What's the size of the United States compared to India? All right. Is drought, the lack of water, a problem for India? And I want you to explain. So you're going to come down to this bottom right-hand map here. Let's zoom in a little bit. It tells you that the different areas have different chances of drought. Like, this is the probability in percentages that an area is going to have a drought. So the areas that are blue have less than a 5% chance to have a drought, like right here, less than 5. The areas that are lighter blue have a 5 to 10, then a 10 to 15, 15 to 20, 20 to 25, and a 25%. So this area is a lot of blue. So this area doesn't really have that big of a concern with drought, right? Same with along the coast here. But then inland, you start seeing these more tan colors. And then over to the west, you start seeing some reddish and orange colors. So the question is do you think that India overall has an issue with drought? Do you think that certain areas do and certain areas don't? Use the map to kind of explain your answer. Comparing the size of the United States to India, how is the amount of arable land, that's land that they're using to farm, different? So we would have to come down to the maps down here. So this is the land use map of India. This tan color is the land that they are using for farming. So as you can see, it's, there is a good bit of it, but I would say it's probably maybe around half of the land is usable for farming. And then you compare that with the United States, just these areas in the middle here, we use for kind of major, like, industrial scale farming where we grow like a lot of our corn and soybeans and things like that. So what do you think compared to India versus the United States? Like, India, I'd say, probably has about half of their land available for farming. What is our land compared to theirs? Now, the United States does not, or this map does not give you United States usable land. You're going to have to think back when we were talking about United States, or go back and look at your read and see what it shows for agriculture. If you still can't find it, feel free to use Google for this question to find out how much U.S. land is arable, because it does not give you that information on here. Okay. And then just tell me, what you think. What's the comparison between the two? What are four major crops in India? So this one's pretty easy. You just come down here, bam, 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 bam. There's your 4 major crops, right? You just read them off of the map, slap them in number 4. What percentage of India's land is rain dependent? All right, it tells you right here. 60% of India's agricultural land is rain dependent. That means that they don't have irrigation from like rivers or lakes, and they have to, hope for rain to grow their crops. This map shows you where the rain is. These dark areas have 250 centimeters of rainfall a year, and then it just goes down from there. About how much of India's land receives less than 60 centimeters a year? So the kind of yellowish to gray, these last 3 categories is what it's looking for. So you're going to look at this area, this little area, this strip right here. So what do you think? How much of the land would you say that it is percentage-wise? About 10 or 15%? I'd say probably maybe about 10%. Maybe. It's kind of hard to tell because it's a weird shape, but I'd say about 10% or so. But anyway, so that is the map activity. This one's not too bad. It's just very basic map use. Some of the stuff you really only have to glance at the map to really get the question. So that's not a bad activity. But if you guys have any questions or concerns or need help with anything, feel free to contact me. You guys have a great day.